Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is investigative reporter Spencer Fernando. You can find his articles at SpencerFernando.com. Welcome back to the show, Spencer.
Good to be here.
Spencer, Prime Minister Trudeau in question period keeps referring to Stephen Harper. Is he trying to paint Andrew Scheer as Stephen Harper?
It seems like it. Seems like he's running as much against Stephen Harper as he is against Andrew Scheer. It's a bit of a weird strategy, though, because Trudeau's popularity now is about where Harper's was close to the election. So it's he's trying to go after someone who's about as popular as he is. And that's kind of maybe that's the best he thinks he can do, but it's a bit of an odd move.
Has Andrew Scheer distinguished himself to be different than Stephen Harper? Different policies, different approach to things?
No, he's been pretty similar. I think one of the different issues may be China. Scheer is being tougher on China than Harper was. Harper signed the Foreign Investor Protection Agreement, which was a huge mistake. Gave China the ability to sue Canada in foreign courts. Although when Harper was in power, China was a bit under different leadership. Under Xi Jinping, it's become very much more even authoritarian, going back to more of their communist past. But I mean, in terms of many things like his mannerisms, most of the policies, Scheer is actually quite similar to Harper. So we'll see if he differentiates himself. I mean, the real issue for the Conservatives will be bringing down Trudeau's popularity, though. That's, I think, their path to winning, as opposed to being extremely popular themselves.
What would Scheer do differently than Trudeau, do you think?
Well, I think he'd be spending less, be cutting taxes, get rid of the carbon tax. I think so. His approach would definitely be different in terms of overall spending. But I think the question he's going to face is, what can he do to benefit Canadians? I mean, the Liberals in the last campaign did an effective job of making people feel that they would be better off financially if they voted Liberal. It hasn't turned out that way. But the Conservatives will have to explain how they would do better for people. And they seem like they've done some of that for now, but they have to find the balance between criticizing Trudeau and also making people think they'll do a good job.
Do you need to have some alternatives here? It's very easy to criticize somebody, but what would you do different? What would they do different?
Yeah, that's the big thing. I think there's this kind of thinking, to me, which is really out of place at this point, where parties seem afraid to share their ideas before the election because they worry that they'll just get taken. But I think the thing is there's never really, people are campaigning all the time now, especially with social media. You're always persuading people, you're always trying to reach people. So to think that there's really a set campaign period where, this is the only time where you're reaching people, I think that's not the best move. I think they need to start sharing ideas now. Again, I don't think they're ever going to be super popular at this point. Scheer's not exactly lighting the country up with charisma, but if he can be seen as a decent, competent choice and then they can take Trudeau's numbers down, then they have a chance.
Have you seen any poll numbers lately?
Yeah, the latest poll by Nanos has, I think, the Liberals at 38, the Conservatives at 37. So it's pretty close. The question is going to be the provincial breakdowns. The Liberals are doing well in Quebec. Ontario is going to be the battleground. And BC looks like it's been trending more to the left, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Well, actually, it seems like Canada's, it's becoming a little bit like the States in terms of the coasts are dominated by the left. And then the middle of the country is more conservative. So you've got, interior BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, much of suburban and rural Ontario. And then the battleground for the country really becomes, the GTA and that area. So I think that's where most of the money and attention is going to be focused, probably Quebec and the GTA.
Jagmeet Singh, is he going to be much of a factor for the NDP, whether he wins his by-election or not?
Yeah, well, he might be a factor in terms of how terribly he's doing. He's really shown not really much of an understanding of the issues, bad timing. Really, he's just like Justin Trudeau with perhaps even less substance, which is a pretty amazing thing to accomplish. So it's going to be a real challenge for him. It seems like his own party wants him to lose. Now he's got Sven Robinson going off message and getting more attention than him. So we'll see what happens. It's not looking too good for him, though.
It seems to me I'm getting emails and messages every day saying the NDP desperately needs my money. Are they in financial trouble?
Yeah, their fundraising numbers have been terrible. They're way behind the Liberals and the Conservatives. They're not raising money. Tons of their MPs are saying they're not going to run. There's even rumors that there's a whole bunch more who are going to say they're not going to run. And because they can see the numbers. I mean, in Quebec, they look like they're going to get absolutely wiped out. So, I mean, things can change, but Jagmeet Singh doesn't seem to have, I think they thought he would have the appeal of Trudeau, without Trudeau's baggage of governing, but it seems like he has Trudeau's baggage without any appeal, so it's not too good for them.
We'll have more with Spencer Fernando right after this.
I'm Douglas Mason, CEO of Naturally Splendid, symbol NSP on the TSX Venture Exchange. Naturally Splendid is a biotechnology and consumer products company focused on the global cannabis and health markets. Naturally Splendid is expanding distribution in this rapidly growing market with products currently in Canada, the USA, South Korea, Germany, and Australia. To view our comprehensive company presentation and for more information, please visit our website at naturallysplendid.com.
MGX Minerals is revolutionizing the new energy economy with patented lithium extraction technology, replacing traditional solar evaporation using low-cost, low-energy nanofiltration. The first system of this paradigm shift technology is currently being commissioned. MGX Minerals trades on the CSE, symbol XMG, the OTCQB, symbol MGXMF, and Frankfurt, symbol 1MG. For more information, visit our website, mgxminerals.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Spencer Fernando. Spencer, are Canadian environmental groups getting their funding from the U.S. who has a very definite agenda on what they're trying to accomplish?
Yeah, Vivian Krause, a great researcher who really should be getting the Order of Canada for all that she's done. She's done a big study into the issue, and so one group called Corp Ethics, based in the United States, is a list of their clients, among them the Rockefeller Foundation and Tides. They had on their website that their goal was to landlock oil sands oil. They call it tar sands. And that they were glad to play a role in defeating the Conservatives, and both in Alberta and federally. And then they praised the Trudeau government for enacting policies they like. And so again, this is a group from the United States, so foreign group. And then they deleted that thing on their website, but of course it was archived and people found it and shared it. And they rewrote it to make it look like they're less interfering. But really, I mean, you look at the United States, they've been having the whole collusion thing, right, for 2 years, going crazy about that. And here we have, clear, like, in-your-face evidence of, a group that's being funded by, super rich people in the States, to try to take down the Canadian oil industry and to try to influence our elections. So, I mean, it should be a much bigger scandal than it is. It should be, everyone should be talking about it.
Why do you think there isn't much attention being paid to it?
Well, I think it's because the media, I mean, they may kind of try to talk objectively and act objectively, but they're just, it's mostly left-wing people in the media. And so their sympathies lie with the groups trying to take out the oil industry. And, it's a huge story, but it's not a story they really want to tell because they sympathize with the groups trying to take the oil industry down, so. And there's this other thing where I notice the Canadian media it's strange. Instead of trying to just report what's happening and then let people react in a natural way, they almost seem like they're trying to manage the reaction. So for example, like right after the arrest, for the two people who were arrested, one who was then released and one who is now facing the terrorism charges. Like a day later, the main media story was concerned about a backlash, right? And obviously there shouldn't be a backlash. Like anyone who's not involved should not be treated badly. But the idea that that's the main story, the worry about a backlash, I mean, people have a right to be concerned when there's a possibility that you have refugees being led into the country and then there's a possible terrorism, right? So people have a right to be concerned about that. So the media seems to try to manage how people react instead of just reporting what's happening and let the chips fall where they may.
Do you think because there was so much secrecy around the case and you have editors saying, get out there and get me a story about it somehow, some way, that might have been the approach or the pressure?
I think that could be part of it, but I do think it's kind of this elitist mindset where much of the media feels that they need to decide for Canadians how they'll react instead of reporting it. Because this has happened every time there's a terrorist incident and every time it's, radical Islam could be involved. That seems to be the reaction. The first story is, the backlash, we're worried about that. That's not necessarily the main story. The main story is that you have some people in the country who have an ideology that leads them to want to kill people, and that's a big problem. So, I think there's the media really trying to kind of manage how people react.
We'll have more with Spencer Fernando right after this.
Grand Portage Resources recently completed the 2018 drill program on its 100% controlled Herbert Gold Discovery property located in the prolific Juneau Belt in southeast Alaska. Drill results are expected through late 2018. Past drill results included numerous multi-ounce gold assays on multiple veins. Grand Portage trading symbols are GPG on the TSX Venture, GPTRF on the OTC QB, and GPB on Frankfurt. For more information, please visit our website, grandportage.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Spencer Fernando. Spencer, the Huawei investigation in the U.S. now exploding, 13 criminal charges against the company, and they've also named the individual being held in Vancouver on an extradition warrant. Apparently this investigation has gone back 10 years, so this isn't something that's happened politically overnight. What have you heard?
Yeah, I think it's a huge problem. I mean, if you look at the indictment and what they're talking about, it's a huge national security issue for the United States. And I think what's happening is that people are starting to wake up to the fact that dealing with a company from China just simply isn't the same as, it's not dealing with a company from Japan, it's not the same as dealing with a company from India or the European Union or Taiwan or, countries in Africa or Brazil or anything. It's a totally different case because there's no real separation between the company and the Communist Party of China. I mean, any company in China has to do exactly what the government says. They have to have a cell of Communist Party members in the government or in the company. Many of the top level people in the company are members of the Communist Party, which means they owe their total loyalty to the state. And now Xi Jinping has really turned it into just a personal dictatorship. And, China's goal is to supplant the U.S. and become the world's dominant military and economic power and impose, a very different kind of worldview. So it's just not the same. And, letting Huawei into infrastructure and 5G and all that stuff is very dangerous. And I think there's finally starting to be a realization of how concerning it is.
China said if Canada restricts Huawei's ability to do business in Canada, there would be severe consequences. Is that a threat to be taken seriously?
Certainly, I think we should take it seriously. Part of it is, China trying to intimidate Canada, and judging by Trudeau's weakness in the past, I can't really blame them for thinking that would work. But again, Canada, we can't let ourselves be intimidated or dictated to by, a communist country or any country really. So I think, we should just take some actions, Obviously, Huawei needs to be banned. I'd say start cutting off the ability of, billionaires and people from China who are buying loads of houses in Vancouver. That shouldn't be allowed. We shouldn't be allowing people from another country to make it unlivable for our own citizens in a major Canadian city, especially when people are not even becoming citizens and not even living there. So I think we need to take some steps, maybe put some tariffs on products from China. I think we just really need to start decoupling ourselves from the Chinese economy over time, because the problem is a lot of the business elites in Canada and politicians who get influenced by them seem willing to sell out Canadian values and ignore what Canada stands for because they see a chance to make money in China. And I think we need to start cutting that off.
Canada's now former ambassador to China, John McCallum, said a lot of things that sounded like he was perhaps a defense lawyer for Ms. Wang Zhao.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, McCallum's, I think, he's someone who seems like he's maybe not officially co-opted by China, but certainly in his mind, he's more on China's side. I mean, a few years ago, he said that Canada has more in common with China than it does with the United States under Donald Trump. And whether people like Trump or not, to think that Canada all of a sudden is similar to, a ruthless communist state as opposed to the U.S. where they have a democratic election, it's absurd. And so for someone, his sympathies lie with China, and that came through pretty clear. And it's amazing. I mean, I think his sympathies also lie with China in many of these things. He said he admired China's basic dictatorship. He really tried to make Canada and China closer, but even he's probably just because of political pressure, he's being forced to distance Canada from China somewhat now, and he had to do something about McCallum. So I think the pressure is really, it's public opinion. A recent poll showed something like 80% of Canadians have a negative view of China, and, politicians can't really ignore that.
Spencer, anything else you wanted to bring up today?
No, that should be good.
Spencer, thank you so much for being on the show.
Good to be here.
My guest has been investigative reporter Spencer Fernando. You can find his articles at spencerfernando.com. He was reporting to us from the sunny, warm confines of Winnipeg.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Goddard Report on TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Find us on Twitter at TalkDigitalNet, our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. Questions for our guests like Spencer can be sent to info@HowStreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.